I'm in West Branch, Iowa on a cold December day. I'm at the Herbert Hoover National Monument, which is the birthplace of Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover was a transitional figure in American political and economic life. He was often seen as the last of the 19th century conservatives, but I think historians today really see Hoover as a transitional figure who paved the way for a more energetic and even empathetic form of government in American life. Herbert Hoover was a controversial figure in American political life. In the 1920s, when he was Secretary of Commerce, he became one of the most popular of all Americans. His name, in fact, became synonymous with efficiency. To Hooverize was to make things more efficient. But by the end of his presidential term in 1932, Herbert Hoover's name had become synonymous with the most degrading aspects of the Great Depression and economic suffering. The Hooverville came to symbolize the encampments of homeless people who lived outside of the nation's towns and cities. Herbert Hoover's politics were shaped by his upbringing. Hoover was born in this house here in the years immediately after the American Civil War. His parents were killed in an epidemic which swept West Branch, and when Hoover was 9, orphaned, he was sent west to Oregon, where he lived with his aunt and uncle. His uncle required him to pay room and board for the privilege of staying with them. And so Herbert Hoover went to work as a boy and worked through the middle years of his life, becoming ultimately one of the richest Americans. Hoover was a self-made man. He went to Stanford University in his inaugural class in the 1890s. He became a mining engineer, traveled all over the world for mining companies, finding and organizing and engineering mining operations. He put a personal stake into those operations and became an extraordinarily wealthy man. Herbert Hoover believed in the power of American capitalism to raise not only individuals like himself to great heights, but to raise the economic fortunes of all working people. Hardworking people could rise up in a capitalist system as Herbert Hoover saw it. At the same time, Hoover recognized that government could play a role in in organizing life and organizing the capitalist system in a way that would make it possible for it to work more efficiently and spread its resources more effectively to more people. And so during his time as Secretary of Commerce and as President, Hoover tried to organize a more activist form of government that would organize voluntarism, organize thrift and efficiency, and ultimately many of the steps that he took as president would lead to more activist forms of government that would be undertaken by the Roosevelt administration as part of the New Deal. So we have politics shaped by personal circumstance, by upbringing, a political ideology shaped by Hoover's own life experience, which shaped American life in the 1920s and which shaped America's initial response to the Great Depression as the economy began to collapse in the late 1920s. Herbert Hoover, a transitional figure in American politics.